Wonderful. You know, I got to tell you, for everybody out there that hates AI, there's sure a lot of AI. I don't know about you. I don't like AI, okay? I've got a big news story coming up about AI. Sora, the AI video maker, whatever you want to call it, Sora. Well, they just folded up. What's up, Woodsman? $1.5 billion in investment, and Sora just folds up because the CEO wants it all in one app under Chat GPT, not one. I don't have anything good to say about AI other than some small cutesy little videos that are on TikTok about little animals eating AI food in bed and stuff. AI is okay for that, but I don't understand why it's so big. Nobody will monetize AI. Everybody hates AI. AI is taking people's jobs. The only people that like AI are about 500 to 1,000 executive and big tech billionaires. So the entire world has to live through this enshittification of every social media platform and every governmental and job body throughout the entire planet because they want to make an extra 7 to 12% on their bottom line. I am very angry at the very wealthy and the very rich piles of shit. You should be as well. And I'm not talking about just average people that became rich. I'm talking about things like OpenAI, things like Palantir, things like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They've done nothing good for our planet. I know you can get something delivered to your doorstep in a matter of 2 minutes if you go on Amazon. Other than that small fact, what is good about any of it? I want to hear from people. What is good about any of this AI bull crap? I'm failing to find a really good reason to be doing this. Now, I know we're all doing this. We don't have a choice, but there doesn't seem to be any progress with AI except making billionaires money. That's it. There's nothing good except making billionaires money. Let me talk about this shit for a second. So we've got mass surveillance with embedded government bodies under Palantir. That's not good for anybody. Watching you constantly, I don't think I like that. Then we have AI shit on social media. That doesn't help. That's terrible. Nobody likes that. We all spend more time on YouTube or whatever it is that you're on, but you're not spending time watching anything. You're spending your time searching to watch shit. So, for instance, did you know in the last 6 to 12 months, 60% of all creators have made less content, just period. 60%, they say, fuck this, they're done with it. But watch time is up 80%. How can that possibly be? Because you're watching shorts or TikToks. What's up, Nana? How you doing? What's up, SJF? And so you're watching YouTube shorts or TikToks.
I'm used to you using them.
I know.
Sorry.
Or whatever it is, and you're scrolling through trying to find things to watch. So you're spending 30 seconds, don't like that, 30 seconds. So it takes you 10 times longer to find something. By the way, this would have been much better if it would have not fucked up at first, I'm sure. I'm half tempted to turn it off and try again.
Nana's going to get everybody.
No, I know. It's just this bullshit platform. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with TikTok. You turn it on and it's got some technical glitch. You come back and nobody's there. It's the same bullshit. So you have to turn it off and wait over an hour so it clears out. Everybody's sick of algorithms, okay? I understand there has to be some type of algorithmic system in order to make things happen in a remedial sense. This isn't good. What's up, Christina? And open AI, or Sora, I should say, so you might want to hear what's going on, because all this investiture into AI is not going to be very good. You guys know what Sora is, right? So open AI owns Sora, okay? Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Nana. So Sora was created by OpenAI. Sora makes videos. A lot of the AI bullshit. What's up, America? That you've seen. Hell yeah, thank you, Fancy. A lot of the AI bull crap that you've seen of like a guy running in a KFC bucket into a wall, that's been made by Sora. So Sora just folded. Disney had an original $1 billion deal. They pulled out. OpenAI is getting rid of Sora. Even though they put $1.5 billion into that, folding it back into ChatGPT. So, the investiture, hell yeah, the investiture into AI is expanding, but the people desiring it are folding, except for the billionaires. Now, what does this mean? Well, earlier today, and I want to read this because this should piss you off nearly more than anything on earth. The super wealthy in the United States are at the largest wealth gap in human history. Not American history, human. Yeah, the fake account, dude, I've reported them twice. TikTok, dude, I'm telling you, they're fucked. TikTok's got something. I really like watching you on YouTube. I do want to put up a lot more of those shorts on here. So let's talk about how bad this is. By the way, thumbs up and share, because as you know, no one will see me unless I turn it off and try again, and I don't feel like doing it. So let me just tell you the difference of what we're doing here in America. This is how bad it is, just overall. So the top 1% of people in America, that's the top 1% of wage earners. I don't want to hear you call anybody a socialist or a communist, because what I'm about to tell you is fucking ludicrous. The top 1% of people in the United States have $54.83 trillion. Now that's, what's up, Jet? What's up, Marine? Well, I did have my stream going. It was too glitchy. So I turned it off and turned it back on, and now nobody's here because it's YouTube. I've known that for years. You have to wait an hour at least, or you have to be on for at least an hour. So the top 1% have $54.83 trillion in America. The bottom 1/2 has $4.2 trillion. So the top 1% of America, wage earners, have almost $55 trillion. The bottom half. So 155 million Americans have $4.2 trillion to work with. The top 1%, approximately what, 2 million people, have $55 trillion. Now, that should anger the fuck out of you, because it's not like saying, oh, back in the day when it was a livable amount. So let me just put it to you this way. In the year 2002, the top 1% had $11 trillion. And the bottom 50% had $1 trillion. Now the top 1% have $54 trillion, while the bottom half have $4 trillion, $4.5 trillion. So we've increased negligibly, and the top 1% have increased 500, 600%. So what does this mean exactly? Well, what this means is that there is no money for the general population. Now, how did it get this way? Because you've been saving money in your 401k, haven't you? and in your bank account. Well, that's fantastic. Wonderful. Let's talk about what happens if you invest $1,000 in America. If you invest $1,000 in your bank account, you will make $1,127 in total. So you'll make $127 over a period of 5 years, 5.5 years. If you invest your $1,000 into your 401k, in 5 years, that'll grow to $1,600. If you invest $1,000 in the Magnificent Seven stocks, which you can't afford because they're $1,000 a share, you'll turn that $1,000 into $3,800. So the super wealthy, with their amount of money where they can buy, $1 billion worth of stock at a time that you can't help, will make 3.6 times more than you will make no matter how hard you try. So even the investitures of the rich are worth more than you. You have to understand, their entire network in society is cut off from your society and life. So, why is this happening? Well, the dollar is in decline. And this is a big issue right here. Between 2021 and 2026, the dollar has lost around 80% of its value. Between 2017 and 2022, the dollar had lost about 60% of its value. And between 2012 and 2017, that same dollar had lost about 40% of its value, all compounding into what you're seeing now. So a 40% loss plus a 60% loss, now an 80% loss. Not in total, that on top of that on top of that, right? So it'd be like if your dollar's at 0.01% of value and you keep shaving that away. Basically, we're turning into the Soviet Union or Cuba or Venezuela or Jamaica, something with hyperinflation. Now, grocery prices in the United States, Donald Trump rightly has said that the price of eggs are down. The price of eggs are down 34%, as much as 53 and even 67% between the crisis earlier, as we all know. But the price of milk is the same, bread is the same, chicken is up about 4%, beef is up 12%, orange juice is approaching a 30% increase, and negligible prices all the way up to 50 and even 100% for sweets and cookies and shit like that. Now, then we go into housing prices. Back in 2017, the average median income was $61,000, with the average home price is $257,000. Now the average median house income is $90,000, which I think that's overinflated. I don't know anybody making 90 grand. And the average home price is $440,000. So the price of your house since 2017 has more than doubled, or about doubled. And your wages have gone up approximately, 28%? 26%? So you're paying double with a quarter increase. You see how that works? While the rich have made leaps and bounds, this is weed, they've made leaps and bounds to levels we've never seen before. This is the richest they've ever been. It's obscene, it's sickening, and they need to be ashamed of themselves, but they won't be, because this is their blood and livelihood. And now they're destroying America because of their greed. You can keep saying, oh, it's socialism to not want it. No, the rich have had too goddamn much. No, you're not paid your worth. Are you kidding me? That's how it was back in the day. Now you're paid what you can get extracted from. Don't give me that shit. You're only paid your worth if you run your own business. I'm neither. You're paid your worth if you run your own company. If you work for somebody else in this environment, it's bad. Now let's talk about utility prices. The average cost of utility prices have risen 7 to 12%. Back in 2023, you were averaging $147 a month. Now you're averaging $168 a month. But those are norms. Outliers include $500 and $600, $800, $1,000 a month. Like here in the state of Indiana, where a power company called AES is being investigated for price gouging. But they'll have to pay a fee to the government, not paying me back. See, so charge $650 for a month of utility, and then, oh, whoops, we ripped you off. Pay a penalty to the government, and I don't get any money. So what the fuck? I went to grad school, so your bullshit is not going to seep in here, okay? I know everybody's wrong but you. Hey, I know everybody's wrong but you. Anyway, unemployment rates in the United States continue to go up, even though, taking card of Strom's. Oh, very nice. Even though the government says our unemployment rate's at 4%, that's actually horse shit. Let's talk about this. So we have to do this by age gap. Right now, 25 to 34-year-olds in the United States have a 9.52% unemployment rate. Dude, you're kind of a piece of shit. You know that? You're kind of a fucking piece of shit. Yeah, block that pile of shit. More lazy people? Dude, fuck you. You can only work so much, you fucking cunt. Fucking asswipe. Anyway, 25 to 34-year-olds, and now I'm reading right off of a report from NBC News. I mean, that's what it is. 25 to 34-year-olds, 9.52% unemployment. And that's some people on here. They'll be like, well, no matter what, there's always... And it's like, oh, I was born without legs, disabled, I'm in a bed, and my prices for groceries went up double. Well, just work 100 hours a week. I don't have legs. Well, Superman did it in the movie. So, yeah. What's up, America? How you doing, Carol? But that's ages 25 to 34. Age 45 to 54, unemployment is at 11.9%. Ages 35 to 44, unemployment, believe it or not, it says is negative 8.9%, so contributing by 1.89%. 55 and older are now contributing 2.1% more. I'm neither. There's better than socialist and capitalist, meaning that the older generation is going back to work to supplement their income, and the biggest group of people that actually are working right now are age 35 to 44, basically contributing almost the entire negative aspect. So I have to show you what I'm talking about. So each age group, you have a 0 level of unemployment, then you have unemployment and employed. So the further down you go, the more employed you are. So every age demographic is superiorly unemployed except for 35 to 44-year-olds. 35 to 44-year-olds are basically the demographic that are making up the entire working economy of the United States. The 35 to 44-year-olds and 55 and up. Those are your mainstay economic population. Your overall unemployment rate together is 5%, just under 5%. But like I said, with 45 to 54-year-olds, you're looking at 13% unemployment. 25 to 34-year-olds, 11% unemployment. And 55 and up, 3.26%. So that group, 35 to 44-year-olds, is really the ones that are taking the entire shit to task there. Monthly job openings, this is interesting. And this is just kind of highlights where we're at in our economy. In 2017, first quarter 2017, we had 5.6 million job openings. Remained between that and 7.5 million until coronavirus, which dropped those job openings to 4.6 million. So then we had a peak of job openings in the United States at 12.3 million job openings in March of 2022. And now you have 6.6 million job openings. So you've had a decline of half of the jobs that were open are now gone. What's up, Steph? Thank you for being here, by the way, you guys. Nana, definitely. So your job amount that you could, between 2022 and now, 2026, half the jobs are gone. Well, why did that happen? One, because those jobs were filled. What's up, cowgirl? Two, is because of AI. That's taking your jobs away. So the rich are making more money than ever. So where are you gaining jobs and where are you losing jobs? So your biggest gain of jobs is in education and health facility services. 658,000 were gained. Now that's because people are becoming old. By the way, a bird shit on my head today. Just wanted to throw that out there. What's up, everybody? Sitting there talking to my daughter, it slammed right on my forehead. And then he was talking shit. It was hilarious. The bird sat there and cackled at me for a minute, then walked away. So just wanted to throw that out there. Now back to the numbers. I'm sorry, hold on, my wife. That was the elephant in the room. Sorry about that. You're it.
Oh God, hold on. Oh God.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Oh, I love it, Nana. So education and health services gained 658,000. Isaac. Education and health services gained 658,000 jobs. Leisure and hospitality gained 126,000. Other gained 62,000, and construction gained 42,000. By the way, I did scrub my head thoroughly. Mining, I heard somebody say that. Mining, quarrying, oil, and gas lost 16,900 jobs. Financial services lost 33,000 jobs. Information services lost 64,000 jobs. Professional and business services lost 88,000 jobs. I guess I should be happy to be in the job I'm in. Manufacturing lost 98,000 jobs. And transport, trade, and utilities, including trucking. What's up, America? Lost 191,000 jobs. So most of the jobs in America that are being brought in are coming from leisure and hospitality and education and health, mostly for old people and catering to the rich. The rest, which are professional trade services, blah, blah, blah. Trade's losing the most jobs, period. So.
Francie says birthday when you're supposed to be good luck.
Oh, really? Oh, well, good. Well, I hope that's good. Well, come on, bring it on, geese. Let's go.
I just hear you scream.
At least my mouth wasn't open.
Bird just shit on my
I think you hate me.
No,
I think my wife hates
no,
me.
I don't.
I'm in insurance, by the way.
You do it makes it funny.
Okay, well, okay. Well, so it's the reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. It did squeak kind of.
It's gross. Okay, I feel like Dawn.
No, she's stupid. You're normal. Oh my God. Okay, anyway, sorry about that.
Moving on.
So let's. Now, this is a poll that was done, and this is a historic marker of how things have been. Hell yeah, Connie. How things have been over the years. So this is a poll of people that are identifying as how is their personal economy doing?
Chat.
Poor, fair, good, or excellent?
It's not letting me interact with your stuff.
Oh, why?
I don't know. My
So-
shit's fucked up.
So poor back 2000. So everybody wondered, and I'm just sorry I'm getting way off track here. I'm talking about the economy for a second. Oh my God. Okay. No more shit talk.
I'm writing.
Or no, for me, I'm like off track as fuck. So the poll is, how would you rate your economic conditions in the country? Most people would agree that back in 2018 and 19, what's up, Virginia, their economy was better than it is now, right? Most people would say, but before 2020, in February or December 2019, their amount of money was okay. So here's the historical markers. Between the average poor people in America were between 16 and 9% before 2020, respectively. Now the average poor in America is between 34 and 42% on average of the economy is considered poor. Before February 2020, 28% to 30% was considered fair. Now, anywhere between 30 and 20, so the exact same amount. People that are considered doing good have gone from an average of 43 to an average of 17%. Now, and then those doing excellent have gone from an average of 12% to an average of 2 to 4%. So 2/3 overall of economic prosperity has been ruined since 2020. So let me just put those numbers. So for instance, I'll just take a marker here. November 2019. Baby, I wasn't trying to be a dick. November 2019. 9% of people identified as poor. Same time, 35% said they were doing fair. At the same time, 39% said they were doing good. And at the same time, 16% said they were doing excellent. Now, as of February of this month, or of this year, 39% say that they're poor. 32% say that they're fair. 25% say that they're good. 3% say excellent. So only 28% of America is doing good or excellent. The entire rest of the country, 32% fair, 39% poor. God damn it. No, I don't want to Dawn you. I'm not Will. Am I Will? Dawn. No, I want you. No, I don't want. You're part of your thing too. Obviously, you're hotter than me.
Oh, whatever.
Well, you are obviously. Anyway, so what this means is basically the amount of poor have doubled. The amount of fair has stayed the same. The amount of people doing good economically has been cut in half, and the amount of people doing excellent economically has been cut in third. So people don't have any fucking money. It's being harder. People fucking want to just talk shit and say that the world will be better if you just work harder. And clearly, as of right now, working hard is necessary, but the amount of work and on disability here, and you see, and it's fucking difficult as shit. That would be no. That would be fucking, in this economy, we'd be fucked. And so you say, well, what can we do about this? Why is this like this? The reason this is like this is because the United States went through what's called, in my opinion, reverse communism. So in communism, they would ineptly try to redistribute wealth. And of course, then people would be greedy, steal it. Bureaucracy people would starve just like they did in fucking Soviet Russia. What we did was the opposite, a redistribution of wealth to the upper classes. You see what I'm saying? So the United States, effectively, after coronavirus and ever since, told the middle class, the middle class and below, you all have to work harder for the same amount. All that money that you had, very little that you had, was put up to the super wealthy. The prices went up, the cost of living went up, everything went up basically except your wages. And they said that they said it in a nice backhanded way. We invite you to double your work in order to pay for shit you had at half the price before coronavirus. And then it's gotten even worse after Joe Biden, which prices went up and never went down. Now, Donald Trump ran on a platform of affordability. Now, everybody still sucks Donald Trump's penis. And the problem is with that is this man ran on a platform of affordability. Now, affordability is not something we're getting. My gas prices right now are $4.30 a gallon, and diesel is nearing $5.50 a gallon. That is Joe Biden prices. Plus, the cost of groceries are double. Plus, the housing cost is double. And they keep saying that we don't want the economy to fail because what? This gravy train needs to keep going? If the economy fails, our prices will drop by forced deflation. I'm fine with that. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I know a lot of people are saying, oh my God, if the economy fails, if the stock market crashes, what about if there's a housing crisis? Oh man, if the price of homes drop by half, what'll we do? If the price of food drops by half, my stars, what will happen? A new car drops from 80 grand in cost down to 32,000. I don't know what I can do with that. Holy shit! Somebody get the fucking defibrillators because I'm about to have a heart attack from all these price cuts. It's gonna kill me to not give my money to the billionaires. Please, here. I know it's a gaping chasm you've had your fist in, stealing money from my ass. I can feel it in the back of my teeth. But what you need to do is you need to dig a little deeper in there so you make sure you get all the fillings out. Then we can drop the prices because we can't afford it anyway. And then all of a sudden, what'll happen? Oh, all of a sudden they'll say, well, we know we made so much profit. Now it's time for us to give back. So these fuckface company billionaires, they will literally suck every drop of financial blood from your soul, only to say, now we're going to reinvest in the America Fund. That's a fund that we're going to invest in that's ran by our companies, of course, and we're going to pay ourselves to build America again. How's that sound? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up these things called social nonprofits, right? Which it's a nonprofit run by a company. That's always fun. So you have like Walmart running a nonprofit, and then they'll donate food to a company to write off that pays them, and somehow they're 10 times richer because of it. Fantastic how that works. Absolutely fantastic how the social capital investiture in the United States. Then when the Epstein files come out and we find out, oh my God, there's a bunch of pedophile child eaters possibly in the government and celebrity class, now we're going to war. Only this time it was used potentially to help the people of Iran, but now instead of giving Iran back to the people and making it a free country, we're now going to make a deal and a ceasefire with Iran on a 15-point plan to allow them to still murder their protesters. The exact reason we initially went into Iran to save the people that were getting shot by the Khomeini regime is now going to be handed back over to the same group of fuckbags that murdered and raped their way. Oh, the Epstein files. Look up the Epstein files. I hope you know what. Yeah. Go on Twitter and look up Epstein file. Hit top and look at the images of the emails. But within 30 minutes, you'll be about to puke in a bucket, and you'll wonder why we're listening. Like, I don't want to pay taxes ever again. Fuck you. Yeah, I know you're good, my friend. No, it's ridiculous. It's like when I see that shit and I'm like, oh, you want me to pay for something. I want a revolution, and I'm not a socialist or a communist by any stretch of the imagination. But this shit is out of fucking hand. This is ridiculous. Anyway, I saw something. Leslie, what happened? Well, I hope you're doing well. I don't know what it was, but I do. I'm sorry I missed it. So I'm disappointed to say the least. in a Donald Trump presidency so far. Let me tell you why. Because all this winning was just dancing on stage to the YMCA. Oh shit, stroke at 42. I'm 44, and dude, I swear to God, I thought I've had one before. Yeah, I pay taxes a lot. I paid taxes for a decade straight, man. Fucking sucked. Anyway, so here's Donald Trump's demands to get Iran to stop. First of all, they call it a 15-point plan, but they've only disclosed 14 points, which is fascinating over the way it is. Oh, see, I never got any of that shit. I didn't get any of that. None whatsoever. Fuck all that. They came on a little strong. Anyway, so the United States, this is the plan from Donald Trump. The United States says Iran must dismantle its existing nuclear capability. Point number 2, Iran must commit to never pursuing a nuclear weapon. Point number 3, there must be no uranium in Iranian territory, enrichment. Point number 4, Iran must hand its stockpile of 450 kilograms of enriched uranium to 60% of the International Atomic Energy Agency in the near future, and a timetable to be agreed. Point number 5, the 3 nuclear facilities, Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo nuclear facilities must be dismantled. Point number 6, the IAEA, the UN nuclear watchdog, must be granted full access, transparency, and oversight to Iran. Point number 7, Iran must abandon its regional proxy paradigm. So that's like the Houthis and Hezbollah and all that shit. Point number 8, Iran must cease the funding, direction, and arming its regional proxies. So that means Yemen will be bankrupt, which is good because the Houthis are pieces of shit. Same with the Hezbollah. These people, these terrorists have been in power too long. They all need to be shot, basically. But in this particular case, but this list is really telling what is going on here. Caused a bleed. Oh, Jesus. Told him before, discharge you, but Jesus. Well, Nana, message me if you need anything. Point number 9, the Straits of Hormuz must remain open and function as a free maritime corridor. So basically, Trump wants international open of the Straits of Hormuz. Point number 10, Iran's missile program must be limited in both range and quantity with specific thresholds to be determined later. Point number 11, any future use of missiles would be restricted to self-defense. In return, Iran would receive a full lifting of sanctions imposed by the international community. Point number 13, the United States would assist Iran in advancing its civilian nuclear program, including energy generation at the Bushehr nuclear plant, And point number 14, the so-called snapback mechanism, which allows for automatic sanctions being reimposed if Iran fails to comply, would be removed. So what this is saying is that Iran would have no sanctions. So Donald Trump is basically trying to take Iran's nuclear capabilities away and then open trade with them. And then there is no 15th point, which some are saying could be a hidden security deal and all this other shit, which I could believe that. Like, we're not going to blow each other up anymore type shit. So that's fine. Donald Trump is seeking a 1-month ceasefire in Iran as U.S. submits the peace plan to them. Now, Donald Trump was saying that they were having back-end talks with Iran. Iran denied that. Donald Trump said it was happening. Some people were accusing Trump of saying that to send the markets up. Generally speaking, in this particular case, I did believe Donald Trump, because it's common to have some type of communications with even your enemies in a lot of diplomatic senses. Even the Germans and the Soviets in the last year of the war during World War II were in communication about territory and surrender, and they had several, what's up, BG? Several back and forths like that. Same with the Allies having communications ramping up at the end of World War II in the West. So this would not be something new. Now, a lot of people say, well, they would never do something like that. You never talk to your enemy when, yes, you do. Yeah, it shouldn't be so hard. Exactly. But yes, of course, these people talk with each other. So while we were bombing, they were in communication with them. Hell yeah, New York City. I love it, man. And so that's what's happening right there. So I don't know where this is going to go. What's up, BG? What's up, Mabel Cat? So I don't know exactly Jared Kushner, the guy that's in charge of Israel low-key, or in charge of America through Israel low-key, is basically dealing with this right now. So that's where we're going with that. It's interesting how this is happening. One group of people I've noticed that will not be benefiting from this is the actual people of Iran that were being shot to death. Oh shit, Arizona to sell you. Yeah, no, it's going to be public, obviously. The biggest thing here is that after we destroyed the IRGC, the military, and all this other bullshit, what a big problem is that the people that were protesting in jail, stuff like that, they'll still have protests. The government will still kill them and rape them in some cases. And the protesters that are to be executed will still be executed. Now, Israel and Saudi Arabia are not happy with this. Israel says, almost quote, that they are worried of a lasting peace with America. Saudi Arabia says that they believe that Iran is a long-term existential threat and that we should be blowing them up more and actually occupying and taking it over basically as a proxy for them. So the New York Times is reporting that Donald Trump is continuing the war for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. I don't necessarily think that all the way. I think it's for more. But in a show of force, several thousand Marines have arrived in the Middle East in order to occupy those islands south of, in the southern part of Iran. Now you're all quiet. I like you talking more. Now it's like I'm a bird shit on my head. Hey, honey. Hello, computer. Anyway, sorry. Okay. So thousands of Marines are in there, and some of the Gulf states say that they would be willing to fight Iran. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they were. She can't talk without laughing. It's because my face looks like this.
Oh, what?
You'd be laughing too. Anyway, so they're saying that the peace plan is. I'm sorry, Dan. The peace plan is in the mail. I just went over that peace plan. And Tony Blair says that Iran had a victory over the United States. I don't believe that, because I think Tony Blair is a satanic little weird fuck that used to do orgies with under ones. So that's what I'm saying there, because I don't like Tony Blair. I never have. I think he's a piece of shit. So do same with John Bolton. I don't know why. Donald Trump does not have a very good track record with cabinet members. I question his ability to delegate authority properly. The first term under Donald Trump, he had shitty cabinet members. What was that guy's name that was the yeehaw? The guy who hated weed. Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions was a piece of shit. Kristi Noem was a piece of shit. Hegseth, I don't talk that much shit about because he was actually in the service. So I don't want to discredit any type of corps or any type of branch just because of his stupidity. But I'll leave it at that. I'm not saying he's stupid. I'm sure he's a good war fighter. Like, the problem is, do any of you really know what's going on? You know what I'm saying? How much plausible deniability is out there, right? That the general public can't know about because they'll freak out and attack a bunch of Walmarts, right? You understand that, right? You don't know everything that they're hiding. Thank you, cowgirl. Like, thank you, my friend. Like, they don't know, like, you don't know everything the government's hiding. Right? So what they do is they do a bunch of shit, and you're like, why were they doing this weird shit? You know, why were they, oh, the poor people of Palestine or something. Why were they doing that? And then maybe you, the general public, don't know. Maybe there was a bunch of tunnels of sarin gas or some weird shit. But they're not allowed to talk about it because you would freak out. So, like, if I told you somewhere in 10 American cities, there's just hidden nuclear weapons ready to go off at any moment's notice. We don't really know exactly when, but they're timed at some point. We also don't know where the cities. We just know that 10 suitcase nukes were smuggled in, and they're in various cities in America. And we're going to broadcast that on the 8 o'clock news. Now, how do you think that'll go over with a bag of retards? Now, for you and me, we'll do this the normal thing. We won't go to grocery stores. That's practically a death sentence. If you want to store up on food, you go to things like schools where you can raid their food supply, not Walmart, right? Because you're just asking to get in a fist fight with some dude over a pack of Pringles, all right? That's not good. You stay away from that. You hit the schools first. Because they'll have stockpiles of food for the students. You see what I'm saying? So that's a way. So if the shit goes down while everybody's fighting each other at Target, I'm going to be loading up a fucking SUV from the nearest fucking any school, and I'm going to be bringing out things, what do they call that? Gordon Food Services hamburger patties, whole 9 yards. The square pizza that's 8 miles long. And absolutely, fuck a grocery store. I'm going to be getting milk. I'm going to be getting water, juices. Oh, yeah, we're going to get, and if it's winter, we're going to make those ice. You make the panels of ice, and you make them a fridge, and you put them in there and leave it outside so it's cold all the time. Yeah. Oh, I remember school lunch. But when it comes to that, or starving to death, or eating a guy that was nuked, and eating that human meat that's irradiated, I think I'll take the pizza any day. Or the cans, the big fucking cans. That's where you get them, is the schools. The ones that you can open up and feed 30 people. That is the way right there. I'm telling you, man, when it all goes down, you don't want to go, what do you want to do, fight a bunch of people over McDonald's patties? What, are you kidding me? Fuck all that. Anyway, but yes, the government is not telling you. They're not obligated to tell you either. Just like one time, Pete Hegseth, they were doing a press conference, and they were talking to Pete Hegseth. He goes, well, can you give us a timetable of when the war will happen? And he's like, no, I'm not going to tell you that. Are you stupid? What are you out of here? No, loose lips sink ships, dumb fuck. You don't tell the general public, well, we're going to strike this. Unless you're lying, you don't tell the general public where you're sending an amphibious strike group. Want to know why? Because they'll be waiting to down the amphibious strike group. No, what's up, Nana? Nebraska burning. Yeah, I saw that. I have a video up on TikTok of that. Oh, dude, it's getting huge. Same with South Dakota and Montana as well. And Ryan Hall, y'all, here on YouTube, says that there are going to be heavy winds and dry as fuck. Like 10% humidity. I'm dead serious. Like east of Colorado. And it can't happen, but the driest is going to meet with the windiest. So if somebody farts a fucking cigarette lighter a little much, it is over. You know what I'm saying? But what would you guys do if somebody said there were 10 nuclear weapons on the loose in American cities and nobody knows where they're at? Would you proceed with cautious law and order? Or would you freak the fuck out and get on the roads and head anywhere else but a major city. They would be abandoned. Commerce would fail. Right? Imagine if every major city was emptied and nobody did shit. It would be a fucking absolute disaster. So the United States government probably gets that 5 to 10 times a year, I would assume, right? And I'm assuming the military probably gets that 15 to 30 a month when it comes to threats of some type. And I'm assuming DHS and these other services get thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of threats to God knows where that you'll never have any privy to whatsoever. You will never know that the A train you were on down in the subways in New York less than a half hour before, that's why all the cops were on that platform. Wow, who knew? Because they got a threat. There might be some WD-40 in there, if you know what I mean. Which, an explosive device, And you're just like, oh, well, that had a whole trend, because they don't want to freak people out. It's the same reason they don't tell you aliens would exist. Now, if you say that aliens landed, I would have no problem. I would not bother me in the slightest. I'd be like, oh, that's great. Where the fuck's my shot at so I don't have to get sick anymore? You got that immortality shot? Can I get one of those? Right? Oh, you're cool with it? Yeah, I've been cool with that. Who the fuck do you think you are? Give me the fucking shot. I don't want to get sick, and outside of getting blown up or hit by a truck or shot, I want to live forever, so fuck yourself. And that's all it would take, but they won't do it. But some people would freak. There's other life out there? This religion, which I read wrong, tells me that can't be. My world's crashing down. We better murder a bunch of children. Because somehow that's where it would go. Because we're humans. Somehow it would go to rounding up some group of people and shooting them. That's always where humans go. Don't know how that happens, but that's what would happen. And so you would have, and even though the Bible clearly leaves it open for life on other planets, I don't know how anybody missed that reading the Bible. I still am flummoxed how anybody believes that the Bible is anti-alien in any capacity. It is wide the fuck open for all. It actually encourages the thought of it. It talks about Leviathan and Behemoth. God tells Job in the Bible, hey, asshole, I created better shit than you. Idiot, shut up. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, here's some examples. Now fuck off and be glad you're breathing. Oh, okay, thanks, God. Yeah, anytime, doofus. That's what happened. And it's like, so hold on. So he's like, wait a minute. You created bigger shit than me? He's like, yeah, there's probably like space whales that breathe sunlight out there that are immortal, that might eat gas from nebulas. You don't know that. I thought, yeah, you thought, didn't you? I'm sure you did think. Yeah, that's funny. You thinking it all. There goes the human animal that ate the wrong fruit in the garden thinking again. Can't believe that. Oh, that's not blasphemy. How can it be blasphemy? Slurs, please. Slurs? How is that? It's not blasphemy. There is no inability for God to create an alien or any other species on other planets. What are you talking about? Are you going to limit God? See, that's the thing. I'm not talking, it's blasphemy. Like if somebody suicides and they can't go to heaven. God doesn't allow that. No, you said that. You said that. He didn't say that specifically. Maybe there was an extenuating circumstance. Maybe he had a fucking brain tumor and he couldn't take the ice pick feeling in his eye anymore. You know what I'm saying? There's some extenuating circumstances for all things. We don't know what it is. You know what I mean? We don't understand what that is. Could there be... There's all kinds of things. It's not that I'm saying that, well, God says you could just sin at all and you'll be fine. No, it doesn't say that. But what makes you think that God couldn't have produced an alien or another life form or a planet with people doing little things? Maybe it's a fiddler crab planet and there's little fiddler crab bars, and there's little fiddler crab strip clubs, and little fiddler crab fucking airline pilots that are sitting there using their little claws to punch the buttons. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. And it's like, you don't know what they could have created out there because you're not there. You're not privy to it. Some beings could live 5,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I mean, jellyfish are practically immortal in some cases. So what the fuck are we doing? You know, I mean, and that's, well, is it blasphemy? To some, maybe. Let's see. Does the Bible say aliens exist? The Bible does not specifically mention or confirm, but theological, some believe the Bible argues against the existence of aliens because Adam's sin and Jesus' subsequent salvation is viewed as unique to humanity. However, some users discuss whether aliens can be interpreted differently, but generally agree the Christians believe that extraterrestrial life is not supported or denied. So, and then there's aliens versus strangers, which I'm not looking at. By the way, I'm looking at an AI and see what they say. So, I don't know. I think that a lot of people, it doesn't really mention the Bible. I think it could mention things like the book of Job, that's my mother, that believe that they're...
What's funny is it's 8:58 and that's usually when I grow up.
Oh, yeah, that hasn't been doing that either. Let's see. So, it basically says, Leviathan. Why is it not giving me... Hold on. AI is wrong. I'm not using AI. I'm going to look it up. Because I'm using Google right now, and it literally tells me that there's no mention of Leviathan in the Bible. But then it also tells me that in Job, it mentions Leviathan. So it says key aspects of Leviathan in Job 41, but there's no mention specifically of Leviathan. Are you out of your fucking mind? Oh my God. This is why, okay, this is the problem with the life right now. I'm sorry to have to do this, but I am very sick of AI. It is really bothersome. Where you were laid the foundation of the... Okay, so where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding, highlighting the exclusive role of the Creator. Shall mortal men be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than air? Surely you know that we were already born. A number of your days is great. But there is a verse somewhere that says something about Leviathan and Behemoth being greater than us. You've read that, right? I don't know anybody out there. I'm trying to get the verse. I'm going to have to apparently look at it on an actual Google search because of the fact that fucking it looks like the AI refuses to tell me what is the wonders of creation, Job 38:12 through 41. Okay, so that's going to be where it's at, somewhere in there. Basically saying that there's better shit than us, right? Isn't that what it is? And if it's not, well, then I guess I'm wrong. And if that's the case, oops, I hope I don't go to hell. No, not before God. That's what he asked Job, is where were you when I laid the foundation of the plant of the world? Anyway, let's continue. I'll have to do a separate video on that on the archaeology page, won't I, honey? Because goddamn, and I'm going to have to not use an AI, which sucks. $500 million. Oh, there's been some insider trading. 10 minutes before Donald Trump's announcement of possible peace in Iran, there was $1.5 billion that was put into oil stock or against oil or something like that. And the person apparently made $60 million in under 10 minutes because he timed it directly right before Donald Trump made his announcement, made a shitload of money, pulled it out, and then it went down to nothing. And so that means that whoever this was that did that had knowledge of insider trading, but we don't know a name. Still don't know a name. I have a feeling that more than likely it'll probably be somebody in the Trump administration or somebody that's privy to what he's going to do. It almost has to be, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, if it's somebody like Donald Trump Jr., there'll be no ramifications for doing anything fucked up. Just like there would be no ramifications. Democrats or Republicans can suck my asshole. Anyway, J.P. Morgan warns of national security risk in a grid network of finance. I hope they destroy the financial network. Kind of upset that we're not still at war with Iran because I wanted them to destroy the financial markets before we did any of this. You know what I'm saying? Just to be fair, I don't give a shit. People are making a lot of money off poly market, which is a real fucking weird thing. Betting on like if the light will turn red or green at a certain time. Betting on just random shit. Yeah, random shit. Do you think we'll go to, do you think Jesus will come back before the end of 2026? And they're getting bets on that. Yeah, he's got a 40% chance of coming back, so you better play the edge there. It's like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Or maybe there's not aliens. Who knows? I hope God doesn't kill me because I said something wrong. All I know is God could do it. That's what I'm trying to get at. Whether God created aliens or not, you agree that he could, right? Just like if somebody kills themselves, they could go to heaven. God could say, oh yeah, fine. Right? It's not like there's, like, I hate to say it, like there's sin, there's death, there's retribution. Hey, what's up, Andrew? But this whole God thing, like, all this is a test. He could just say, everybody goes in and it's fine, right? Because technically Jesus already died for the sins. So God could say, well, there's really no skin off the game here. Let's just let everybody in, right? Wouldn't really be a problem at all. Because everybody coming in, their hearts and minds would be purified. So upon entry to heaven or to death, Jesus could be like, you're purified, you're purified. Okay, you can't sin, you can't, fantastic. Right? That's what could happen. But it doesn't happen that way. That doesn't happen that way. You have every single person, it's like, well, what if you're like fucked up or you have a brain tumor? Or what if you're just an evil person by nature, but you don't want to be? And you really don't want to be, but you can't stop being a fuck. Well, then, and you're like, you come to heaven, you're like, well, now I can stop being a fuck. No, sorry, burn you to death, fuck you. I understand it's harsh and nobody wants to experience that, obviously. Like, I don't want to be obliterated into hell, nobody does. But it just seems to me like most people will end up going to hell, right? Is that basically where we're at here? Like, I would say, what, 90% of people will probably end up in hell? I mean, is that, it's kind of exclusive, right? I mean, is it real here? I mean, everybody gets saved or whatever, but then they all fuck up or whatever. So in the whole scheme of things, like, even if you believe in Jesus and God, like, I believe Jesus died and he rose again. And all that, and ascended, but then it doesn't matter. If I'm like a piece of shit, I still die, right? And you're like, well, what if that was not involuntary, but there's nothing you could have done because that's just what it was or whatever. Or like, you know, God made Pharaoh's heart hard. Well, what if he didn't? Then would it have, you know, been okay? Like, why did he, you know, does that mean he like fucked somebody's ability over or potential in order to get a W? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's all like, and then somebody saying like a relationship with God. Well, like, I want to be there, but like, what do you do exactly? Like, I don't have good relationships with humans, let alone God. So you have a relationship, but you're like, I don't know what to do exactly. It's not that I don't know what to do. Yes, the world is round. It's not that I don't know what to do. It's that I don't really, how do you come about it? Like, what if you don't believe the Holy Spirit comes to you? And you're just like, oh, well, you're supposed to get this feeling. You've had it a number of times, but you just don't have it anymore. Even though you do believe in God and Jesus and all that, and you believe the story, and you want a relationship with God or Jesus, and you try to have it, no matter what you do, you're just a fuck up. And you're like, well, I want to, but I also know you killed me once. And I know you were going to send me to hell. And I asked for help, but you didn't, like, do you really even want me alive? That's the thing. Do you want me dead? Do you want me to be in hell? Would you find pleasure in my destruction or my obliteration? I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, people say, well, what's there a threshold? What if there's no threshold? What if there's no way? What if it is, people say, well, there's no too late. Well, that's not what the church teaches. The church teaches that there is a point of no return, correct? That's what the organized church says, that there's a point of no return. That like, okay, well, you blasphemed the Holy Spirit, so therefore you can't go to heaven. Well, I didn't mean to. It's been 20 years, I've changed. Nope, that doesn't matter. Fuck you. Go die, you piece of shit. It's like, well, I didn't know what I was doing. I was under duress. Life was, no. That doesn't matter. Fuck you. Die and burn in hell because you blasphemed the Holy Spirit years ago and you didn't know because it was a bad circumstance. You should have been better. Fuck. Yep, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Suck a dick. Is that what we're doing here? That's what I'm asking. I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you hear like the duality. It's the same with man. You hear like the duality of God. Like he could be vicious and destroy the destroyer of worlds, or he could be merciful and keep you alive. But what does God want to do with me? Because I don't hear anything. I hear what my mind tells me. I hear when I pray. I hear what it probably wants to think for me. But I don't know and I do know that he's there. Maybe God just doesn't like me. You see, that's a possibility people don't think about. God loves you, but what if he doesn't really like you? What if he looks at you and he's like, I kind of created this annoying thing. And it's like mean, and it does bad shit, and it always tries to say it's sorry for it, but it doesn't really mean it. But it wants to mean it. It wants to stop being a fuck, but it doesn't know how. But even when it tries, it's still a failure. It asked me to help him, but then it doesn't do it, but because he's too much of a fuck up. You see what I'm saying? So, well, thank you. And it's like, but then it's like, well, what about like the devil and shit? Why is that still always around? Why isn't there just like a bubble of protection that could just like fuck it all up? Like, why does it still exist? Why is this still continuing is what I'm saying. Like, would it be better just to destroy it all, literally kill them all and let God sort them out, right? And then do it again? Like, would it be more of a benefit to do that? You know what I'm saying? So like if you were saying, well, the people are fucked up. They're basically fucking everything and being a bunch of degenerates like they used to. Like, oh, okay. No, I have the news. I'm just went into this. You say, well, I really want to go to heaven and I want to be with God. And it's like, yeah, but you're too bad at what you do. Okay, well, can you just destroy it? Like, I don't know. All I'm saying is it's like, I get punishment. I don't get eternal punishment. I get, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get, like, if you were, like, does Hitler go to heaven? Does Stalin, does Mao go to heaven? Their actions killed, what, 250 million people between them? Right? So, does Hitler get retribution? So if I said I reject the Holy Spirit, but then I don't mean it and I want it again, do I get the same fate as Hitler? Right? So Hitler kills, 6 million Jews and however many millions of others. And then now I have to be with Hitler because I was weak at a point, and like, you know what I'm saying? So now my with this that I really didn't want to do, and I rejected it, and I say, please, I'm sorry, versus this guy, it's a grave sin. I see, that's the thing. But if I did that, which I have before, then what do I do? Because what, am I going to live another 30 years just fucking up like that? So I'm just, now it just doesn't matter. So now the next however long in my life, it just doesn't matter. Is that what it is? Now there's nothing I can do. Now I'm just like, okay, well, fuck it. I might as well just be the biggest degenerate piece of shit because I'm already fucking doomed. So what's it matter? It's like I'm condemned. So who gives a shit, right? Is that what it is? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we going with it? Because I would like to know, because they were like, well, God will never turn you away. Oh, good. Well, he will at this point. And I'm like, well, hold on a second, because you said that God never turns you away. Well, I said that's what was said, but then this guy said, no, that's not the case. You see what I'm saying? So, like, God allows you to be forgiven, but now, nope, not now. You rejected the Holy Spirit at one point. So it's never coming back. You never get a second chance. Fuck you and die. Really? That's what we're doing? And I'm like, it can't be that way. Well, it is. Well, why is it like that? Does it have to be that way? You know what I'm saying? Does it have to be? Can't there be like some... Well, that's the thing, because what is the reality? What they say versus what is the reality. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Like, if I became an apostate in Islam, they kill me, correct? So what if I, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, what is Purgatory's deal? Is that like watching The Facts of Life, the same episode, for 80 years while eating gruel? Is that getting a pitchfork only partially up my asshole? Like, where are we here? Is the Catholic Church right? Is it all made up? You know, is it just an indifference and trying to, you know, sort out why your loved ones die, and you're trying to say, well, I don't have an explanation because they're dead and it's tragic, so we just made up this bullshit 72,000 BC and it's just continuing now in order to make people that are grieving feel better? I mean, then it's like, I already know that's not the case because I do believe in the Jesus thing, but you do wonder about it. You know what I'm saying? You wonder about it. And it's like, I don't want to be obliterated. You know what I'm saying? I see a Mabel Cat. I don't want to be obliterated. You know what I'm saying? I want to be, you know, at least have an opportunity. There's been about 110 billion people that have been born and died so far in the history of humanity. About 110 billion people have been born and have died. And then you have the, 7.5, 8 billion now? That's the realities. What's up, Ziggy? That's the realities of the situation. So you say, that's a lot of people. What happens to their souls? Like, what happens with that? Is it really 110 billion, and then what? 10 billion get to live, so 110... Thank you, Cole. Do 100 billion people go to hell while 10 billion die or get to make it? Why is hell an option, I guess? Like, I get for the demons because they made war with God. Like, so they actually tried to physically attack God. They tried to physically attack heaven and occupy it for their own prideful nature and greed. So I get why they're chained and they go to hell and stuff. But it's like, well, we disobeyed direct orders. And it's like, I understand that. And it's not good. I get it. But frankly speaking, I was kind of set up. Right? I understand. So, and I'll get to these. I'm sorry, 5 more minutes. You're born on earth. All right? You're born on earth. You're going to fuck it up. And then you have theologians say, even if you don't, you die because of original sin. So no matter what, it's a problem. So just my very birth is a problem. The very fact I'm here is a problem. And you say to yourself, well, this whole planet is just a stage to see what you'll do in order to get to heaven or hell. That's wonderful and that's a fine idea, but that's not the truth though. Because Adam and Eve and all the creation were here and they were destined to live forever. So there was no stage for them to be in unless God knew they were going to fuck up initially, right? So if Adam and Eve were here and they were going to be permanent, populate the earth with us and the animals, then there was no stage to prove yourself. It was just you were here as a created being of some sort, like God created a series of fucking hamster people. And then here's a giant planet. This is your cage, basically. Enjoy and don't fuck it up. Okay. Oh, but you fucked up this one thing. You ate this. So now everything gets to die. And I'm like, well, why is that? Because somebody made a poor decision. There seems to, and then why is the serpent here? If he was kicked out of heaven, does that mean that our paradise was the hell of the angels? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. So, like, we're down on earth. God made it and saw it was good. The people and the animals, all of them. But then the serpent makes us disobey God. And then the whole planet and everything that's made after that fucks up. Wonderful. Why was Satan in the garden? I thought he was kicked out of heaven. Why was he not obliterated? Because the human soul, I know this for a fact, you can be sent to oblivion. You can be obliterated. Your soul will be obliterated in some cases. So why was that not done with Satan and his minions? But it can be done with a human for simply rejecting the Holy Spirit. So if you say you reject the Holy Spirit, you get obliterated and go to hell. But the devil does not. And if he does, he's not obliterated. He's just there to torture, which is different because if you're torturing, at least you're still alive. If you're obliterated, you never existed. So explain that to me. Why was he here? He turned himself into a snake. Okay, so how did he get past the security of God to turn into a snake? And then what? When God came down and was like, Adam, where are you? He knew where Adam was. He was waiting for Adam to show himself. So he knew where Satan was. Did God have an off day with that? Did he not understand? Oh, I don't know. I can't track Satan. I just don't know. He knows where every living being thing is. So what was it? And God can't be compromised because he was perfect. So there's no way to fool God. Trust me, there's nothing you can do to fool God. It's an unfoolable source. It'd be like, let me give you a riddle. And it's like, here it is. It would be like the most boring game of Uno with God. Because every card, he would already know what you're doing. He'd be like, no, I wouldn't do that. He'd be like making your moves while you're thinking it in your head. And he'd be like, I don't know about that 4. And you're like, God damn it. And you're like putting them down. Stop looking at my cards. He's like, I can't help it. I'm reading your mind. So like, how does this work? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you have obliterated the armies of heaven or the armies against you in heaven and Satan? Or is it one of those things where we have, because you would have to almost exist in multiple places. Satan came to tempt Jesus. Okay, he was in a human form. Now he's in a snake form. He obviously has shape-shifting capabilities. He can travel interdimensionally. Obviously, that's wonderful. So why was he not locked out of doing that? If God can set the foundations of the earth, which he can, then why can't he set up a security thing against Satan coming and infiltrating our perfect world? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm wondering. Or there's more to the story. And that's just what it is. And I'm betting that there's more to the story and that what we have here that we're listening to is about all that humans are capable of handling. And we're given tasks like monkeys would be doing. But at the same time, why do we have to die? Right? Why do we have to be punished for something? For instance, you would argue that Solomon would go to heaven, correct? Right? You would argue that Solomon would go to heaven, right? But Solomon was married and had 1,000 wives. So isn't that committing adultery? So if you have a bunch of wives and you're fucking all of them and concubines, isn't that committing adultery? So, like, what are we doing here? Is it like favorites? I mean, that's fine too. I just want to know what we're up against. I'm stupid when it comes to a spiritual realm, but I'm not stupid. Like, you could come down and be like, look, here's a basic way it works. Like, your Bible, that's fine and everything. That's some of it. Like, here's the shit you don't know. Here's like 9 points that humans should understand or whatever. And I understand the 10 Commandments, that's about that. But it seems like there's deeper than that. Like, we might need to know a little bit more. Like maybe we don't have all the information. Like, why was Satan waiting in the garden? How many more people other than Noah and his family lived the flood? Because it's looking like there might have been a couple of groups, not just one. Might have been like 7 or 8, based on the stories worldwide we're seeing. You know, I would really like to know some of these things. And I understand a lot of it's been hidden. A lot of it's been hidden by the Vatican, Sumerian tablets. Now, I've gone through some of those. You're right, I need to get more of those. But there's a lot of, I believe, in my belief, that there is a great deal of information hidden on purpose by things like the Vatican that they don't want you to know. Things that might not necessarily make it easier to get to heaven, but might accentuate a relationship with God, something that might be a little bit easier, not as a genie or anything like that, but maybe there's certain things angels told people to do that might make you better or might help you, maybe health-wise, maybe some prayers we don't understand or know yet. You know, these are things that the general public would probably have a good time knowing. And then there's a lot of speculation, like what's in the Vatican library? What do they know? Why are you hiding this shit? Is there profit to be had in trying to bring souls to God through your way, not his way? This is the type of thing I would really like to understand and know. And all these other denominations say, well, this is the right way, this is that. But I believe that the big church would probably have most of the answers because they have the biggest library. And if you want to know a lot of information, you go to the largest source of it. Most cases. You'll find an outlier tidbit here and there at a small library somewhere out in fucking Western, fucking Kazakhstan or whatever. But from time to time, you will generally find more information in a big place like that. So I would like to have like unfettered access to the books that you discovered that you didn't put in the Bible. Ones that you might call heresy. And I want to know why you call them heresy. You're not saving no souls. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. But worship Jesus. Tell him you're sorry and he'll come to you. Say, Jesus, help me. There, I saved souls. That's all. That's really all you have to do. Jesus, help me. I believe you. And you'll take care of the rest. Why is that? Because if you don't think he'll take care of the rest, then you don't really believe, do you?
Okay, so news.
News. What? I'm not allowed religious joint.
You're way past your 5 minutes that you said though.
Well, joint. I'm allowed to go. Even my wife's shutting me down. He keeps the devil at bay. That's all we need, man. I've heard so many near-death experience stories. Say the magic word. What? God? Jesus is God? Is that what it is? Say the magic word. Chicken. Oh my God. Okay, so Lord, you're supposed to say, Jesus, help me. That seems to work for me. I think I'm a little too dramatic, but it's real, though. I'm just very passionate about things. I told you about the insider trading. I told you about JP Morgan. Moody's cuts the rating on private credit fund. That was expected because our economy sucks. Wall Street crisis spreads as BlackRock's shadow bank blocks withdrawals, as well as Apollo Global Management is now capping redemptions as well after consumers try to take out $1.2 billion. BlackRock did that as well after they tried to take out $1.7 billion. So that's what that is. By the way, no Kings protest coming up on Saturday. What time will I be back to do that? Because I'll do that as soon as I get home.
I would say by 5.
By 5? Yikes. Sure we can't change that to Saturday to go up there? That won't help. Take off Thursday?
I would have to take off Friday.
What?
I would have to take off Friday.
Ooh, take off Friday.
I can't.
Yeah.
Too much.
No, we could leave at like 7 in the morning, get back here. Well, it's the coming back. But I don't want to wake up to it because we have to go to Hi-Ho Restaurant. I have plans for those fish and chips. Those seagulls need it. Anyway, sorry. So on Saturday, I'll probably be back about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe later. But I'm going to be streaming the No Kings protest as long as I can. Sorry I won't be there earlier. I'll be in Canada for a short time. Here you go. Because I'm going to Windsor, Ontario, in order to buy, to go up there to buy a bunch of food, so I won't get a bunch. Well, we buy food from Canada sometimes. I want some of that bread. I don't care if it's hard. The shit's good. I'm gonna get some. I don't care if the bag falls apart. And then we'll be crowdfunding. What do you know about crowdfunding? A little bit. I went to grad school for nonprofit management. They use crowdfunding a lot there. And then I'm going to be getting my good green in Michigan. Because this shit's dirty. And so, yeah, Windsor's not bad. Used to be a shithole. I like the bridge. It's better than Detroit. The lake to the north, Lake St. Catherine or whatever, that's nice. But it's one of those places, definitely summertime, and it's going to be cold as shit up there, isn't it?
Like 40.
Like 40? Man, that's a heat wave. But the No Kings protests, 3,000 protests for Saturday. I will be streaming them 5 or 6 o'clock all the way till midnight or something like that, depending on until my wife is like, come on, honey. But that's what we're going to do because there's 3,000. New York City will have a big No Kings protest. More than likely, I'm going to miss the beginnings of them. But like I said, I'll be going through the middle and the nights. Organizers across the U.S. are planning 3,000 local events Saturday for No Kings Day. The progressive political groups, labor unions, and human and civil rights organizations are expected nationwide. Demonstrations to surpass last year's rallies. The Twin Cities will serve as a flagship event. According to, I wish it was Los Angeles so we could get it. According to organizers with Senator Bernie Sanders, Joan Baez, Maggie Rogers, and communist Jane Fonda. Oh. Bruce Springsteen scheduled to perform. Well, I definitely don't want to watch that. And to speak at the Capitol. Immigration will certainly be a rallying cry for many protesters, according to Axios, especially in the cities like Chicago, Charlotte, and Nolens, where ICE and Border Patrol conducted vast random sweeps of immigrants. The war in Iran is also driving people into the streets. The main organizers said of Indivisible on social media. No Kings has mapped thousands of events planned for cities like Chicago as well as more rural areas. And I'll try to find streams and live stream those as much as humanly possible when I get the opportunity. Like I said, it'll be late afternoon, more than likely. 7 million people were at the last No Kings event. This one's expected to be larger, just on the amount of events, and more than likely this will begin the protest season. So when it does start to protest, you'll see me protesting on here when possible, just for the fuck of it, because I like protesting on YouTube, or whatever. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. Gift if you got it. And by the way, is YouTube, I hear they're I've heard a lot of people were demonetized. Is that the thing going on here? I hope not. I hope they didn't make AI problems like TikTok did. Because if that's the case, that is going to be a hellish year or two while the inept technical support tries to unfuck that. Sorry to say, but Jesus Christ, man, I have seen some shit now. And oh my God, what did you do to this platform? I'm just like, man. One time when we went trick-or-treating, I had a video that had like 200,000 or 300,000 views. Remember that? It was just pumpkins. We were just doing that. It was just so, and now it's like, there is a lot of good, and I'm just going to say this, AI watching AI, exactly, Cole. There is a lot of very good content out here on YouTube that will never be seen by anybody, even when you look it up. By URL. Sometimes it doesn't even show up. I wonder when AI discovery will start to understand the difference between an AI viewer and a real person. So most of you have probably seen the bot farms that have been all over social media, started with TikTok. What you're seeing now is you'll have a television or something like, so what people are doing is they're taking like, let's say a 5-hour live stream on YouTube of a guy fishing on a boat, peaceful fishing, right? And the TikTok page puts a camera up like I have here on a tripod and will face it towards the screen of the television or whatever that's fishing, and they'll put it up there as a guy fishing all day long. And they'll do that with 500 cameras, phones, old phones like this, across 500 channels, and it all goes to the same bank accounts. These people will make $30,000 a fucking day stealing YouTube content, not stealing it, just running the live stream and then having the camera watch the YouTube stream on TikTok. And then on YouTube, they do the same thing with TikTok content. You see how that works? So they take the TikTok content, right? And then they live stream it here on YouTube. And then they take the YouTube content, they live stream it over on TikTok. And you'll see these farms where they have like a phone on a tripod, just like mine, plugged into the wall, and they're in front of different screens. One will be like the mountains, a guy walking. One is fucking a guy fishing. One's a guy driving a boat, right? One's a guy driving down there. And they all have various amounts of views and engagement, which half the people engaging are bots anyway. And they just bank back and forth. It's just bullshit. So the realities of the situation are this. You should be able to make an account. If you're monetized, you should have to show ID to prove you're a human. Nobody should be able to steal or impersonate an account like that. That's what it should be. So if I'm a YouTuber here, I can make an account. You should only be able to make one fucking account. Am I right? Or if you're going to make multiple accounts, they have to be linked to one hive, one person. So you say, well, take it easy, Mabel Cat. Thank you for being here. There you say, well, I have my hive. Here's me. What's up, America? Now, does that mean if you're demonetized on something, you just get punished forever? No, you need to be less harsh. You see, that's the thing. It's a reciprocity, right? So I'll be here if you need me. So if you say, well, I have my ID and likeness and name attached to these 4 accounts, and they're all monetized. Wonderful. So the threshold to be demonetized needs to be less, and you can't demonetize every channel because you fucked up once, right? That you can't do that because it would be you would make so many people ruined and homeless, it would be terrible. But that's what they're trying to do, and it's sickening. Oh, dude, I know. Nana, I have reported that piece of shit 3 times now. And they are contacting people. I even contacted them when they blocked me on one. And I was like, stop stealing my content. And TikTok's just like, oh, hey. And I keep reporting them. And first of all, okay, so on my TikTok account, there is a person, like my main account has 67,000 followers. They have 14,000 followers. The fake accounts get in the way of the real accounts. So this is what they do on TikTok. So YouTube is actual organic growth. So when you subscribe, it subscribes. It's normal. Even though I don't like how they do the unsubscribing if you're inactive. That's stupid. Yeah, and then they found nothing wrong. Yeah, because you have to go to you have to contact them and report it's like TikTok sucks. But what they do is, like, I grew from 0 to 67,000 followers. So at some point, they limit your growth with these fake bot accounts. So I personally believe TikTok makes them. So they make the fake bot accounts, and for a while, all the views and the traction goes to the fake account that's stealing your view. So it'll have the same name, the same blah, 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 but the app will be different, or it'll have like an asterisk or a fucking underscore or a dot, right? And then what they do is they'll steal all your content, and the algorithm pushes out the scam account. And so all of a sudden you were getting 150,000 views. Now you're getting 6,000 views. And you're like, what the fuck? You say something to TikTok and they're like, well, that's just how it is. So then you find it, and there's this thing called the TikTok impersonation report. So it's not clicking the button and saying someone's impersonating you. Then an AI looks at it and says it's always never a problem. It's an impersonation report. And you have to put your ID in there, and you have to tell them which accounts are scamming you and what they're doing. And then that's the mechanism to get them removed. I had on the one TikTok account that had 300,000 followers before the bots eventually took it out, more than likely, or fucking Eddie, that fucking cunt. I had over 250 fake accounts removed that were bots. That 6 or 7 would come up, and then they would get all the views, and then they would all take them down. As soon as those accounts were gone, I started being seen again. And then you can time it. I know, like, my growth is a certain amount. And when it starts to taper off to nothing, I know for a fact, nothing like that helps. They steal the content with data scrapers. And so these are these data farms. And so those bot farms that I was telling you about for that do the live streams, the bot farms, you have like a phone will have 20 accounts, and they put them in these containers that are all linked to a server system. And these, if you have, let's say, 50 old phones in the phone box farm, it'll make 15,000 fake accounts. And all of those accounts can be controlled from a laptop. So they'll go on a video, they'll have a real account that's monetized, and they'll go to that and they'll click on a video with 15,000 accounts all at the same time, all giving it a like, all giving it a bot comment of, cool, bro, heart, this is so hot with the hands. If you see every other comment, those are bots most of the time, right? And then so somebody in China or Vietnam, is making bank for themselves, and they collect these old phones and they all plug them into an interface, and it's called a phone bot farm. Well, the answer, first of all, is to start IP banning any phone bot farm, anything where, so if you see, okay, so this IP address has 600 accounts. Ban the fucking IP address unless it's like a university. Not everything needs to be automated. See, that's the problem. Because like if you try what like YouTube or TikTok is doing, you say, we're just going to automate the security. The automation will find anything as a problem. So if you're like at a university and there's 500 accounts on a single IP address, that might be a possibility because it's a university Wi-Fi. So demonetizing all those accounts is a horrible thing to do because that could be the livelihood of 500 students. The fuck is wrong with you? Right? That's a terrible thing. But if you say, this is coming from a camera shop in Bangkok, Thailand, it says it employs 2 people. By the way, we're Google, we know, right? And it has 941 accounts. That probably is a back room with a bunch of phone box farms doing this. We'll probably IP ban that, and you can appeal the IP ban, and you have to prove. Hey, YouTubers have to prove that they're making their content, and when you're appealing demonetization, you have to prove that you make your content, show your process. Well, maybe they should too. Maybe they shouldn't get a free pass, right? There needs to be scrutiny. You got to pull your head out of your ass, right? This is why you don't have, you have an automation team for certain things like bugs. So like debugging you can do with automation. Doing things like product placement, where to put the product. Automatic things like dubbing. Thank you, PETA. Automatic things like language dubbing, automatic things like captions, which are a pain in the ass here still, so I don't do. These type of things like auto tags, auto description, auto titles, thumbnail cleaners so they can get seen by the algorithm. These could all be automated, but like whether something's offensive or not, or demonetizing a channel, or shadow banning it. None of that should be done by automation or banning you. That's fucking retarded. Because obviously humans are going to find ways to go around it. You need to be agile on your feet, and an automation bot's not going to figure it out every time without you feeding the information in, since it's reading the internet as its information. It only knows what you tell it. Oh, it can make decisions off of it, but until it knows it's wrong, it'll continue to think it's right. And that's why these social media platforms and internet in general, it's not just social media. I just use social media as a linchpin of why, right? You know what I'm saying? It's anything. If you go to a bank and the bank says, well, you pulled $4,000 out 3 months in a row, you must be a terrorist working for Hamas because I had this program from the ADL saying if this is how it is, you're a terrorist. And you're like, well, no, I was just pulling it out 4,000 at a time because I was buying a car and I didn't want to go over the $5,000 limit because you're going to have me fill out a form as to why, and I'm just lazy and don't want to fucking 6-7. I don't want to fucking do that, right? You say, well, no, that must mean, and it's like the automation only knows how to assume the worst in every capacity. That's how it is, because there's no human understanding of maybe the worst is not always the intention, right? Sometimes it is, but like a guy using an AI voiceover to do a history video because he's got a stutter, right? Let's say there's a guy out there making YouTube videos and he's making history videos. And he's like, I love, he's like, I love fucking making history videos, but I got the big impediment and I talk like this. Oh, do you want to talk about Ptolemy? You want to talk about the Civil War? Maybe that guy, huh?
You sound kind of Asian too.
No, yeah, that's all right. I found her discipline. And you say, well, okay, that guy's got a speech impediment. Well, maybe he doesn't want to talk. Maybe he can edit the videos. Maybe he can do that shit. Maybe he's a history buff, but maybe he knows he sounds like a doofus and he doesn't want his voice out there. Maybe he wants to be like, he wants to sound, like Joe Swanson from The Family Guy, because, this guy sounds like that. Hey there, buddy, you like the thought? You like the brewing? How you doing there, sister? Right? And he doesn't want to sound like that. He wants to sound like a man, right? So he uses an AI voiceover, right? He uses an AI voiceover. And so, well, no, you're a robot, demonetized, fuck you. And it's like, well, no, what if I send you a video and I have the stutter and I tell you this is why? Oh, the AI determined that stutter might be offensive. So therefore, fuck you. And the guy's like, well, I can't. So now he has to bag groceries for a living and he's self-conscious about himself. But would you like paper or plastic, ma'am? Because he's got a voice modulation problem also. All right? And so now we're in this fucking room. And you say, well, I just wanted to make money on YouTube. You're making $20 billion a year. Can I have a little bit of that? No, fuck you, you scumbag, which is hilarious because all these social media platforms paint themselves as liberal douchebags for the most part, but they never want to help out anybody but the largest creators and the billionaires. Isn't that fun? So like TikTok, I would say YouTube, but I don't want to make them mad, so we'll just say TikTok. They're the most liberal of all. We need to help the poor, clean the environment, all that. Yeah, all that. Oh, awesome, I love it. But fuck you, you're demonetized, you poor sack of shit, and I'm going to make billionaires, politicians, and the largest creators on television the ones we give the money to. Just like in real life. But peace, bro. Coexist. It's like, but wait a minute. Why do you act like that? Why do you have $20 billion, but you demonetize it's stuck. You have $20 billion a quarter, but you demonetize the lowest level fuckbag. Well, that's just, no. You're finding reasons. Yeah, he'll never afford speech therapy. Yeah, exactly. Can I help you? Can I help? It's stuck in the hole. Okay, there. By the way, that joint's out. You got the pin on stuff. So, it just seems like, how do I put this? And the news is kind of weak tonight. By the way, Meta was sued and they have to pay $375 billion for endangering children. But it just seems to me like no matter if you're a liberal or a conservative, when you're a super rich billionaire company, you're just kind of a fucking douchebag. I mean, they just act like a like Google has more money than God, right? Meta has more money than God, and they don't pay anybody. So the amount of money they would pay out to their creators would be what? Maximum $4 or $5 billion a year. And these people are making $20-30 billion without improving infrastructure very often or much. When they do, the cost is nowhere near the profit margin. So there's literally 2/3 of your profit margin sitting there. And that's after pay. You have 2/3 of your profit margin, maybe half, just sitting there. And you say, well, we're buying server space and blah, blah, blah. But at the rate you're taking down people and demonetizing and banning, it's negligible, the cost you're putting out there. And you're like, well, we provide the service. That's wonderful. My argument is, how much money do you need? Not how much money can you make. You see, this is the difference. The difference between our world and the world of the billionaires, our world is how much money do you actually need? Their world is how much can I make? There's no ceiling in my world. In my world, there's a ceiling. This is the amount I'm taking because any more is described as detrimental to the rest of the world. Their worldview is my growth can be as large as the world and everybody will just be mine. And I will command everything. And it's like, look, how some of you fuck faces, corporations, you have too much. Google can double the pay of the YouTube creators and show the content of everybody without restriction 10 times as much the way you want it. And all it would cost them is 10%, probably. And nobody would bitch anymore. Everybody would make money. I mean, imagine if you had, like me, 20 or 19,000 subscribers. Don't forget to subscribe. And you were able to make $4,000 a month. Do you know what world? See, I always thought these companies, and not just Google, I'm talking all of them. These companies that we're indentured to, I guess you want to say. We all had a notion that they were going to build the world into this futuristic society that we could all live in a peaceful, harmonious way. But all as it did was build a society for them individually. Not anybody's benefiting from their creations. Except for, like, we all have iPhones now, or Androids. That I have a laptop still. There hasn't been big pushes in technology in 10 years. Well, your iPhone is better. It's like, but it's nothing new. And that's done on purpose. It's done on purpose to maximize money. But money, you're just limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself on, like, how do I put this? All you care about is money? You know what I'm saying? All you care about is money? That's it? Like, there's so much more. Like, I remember, and I hate to get nostalgic, but I remember the days, like, before the change, 2019, 2018, 2017, everybody remembers those years. I used to do gaming on YouTube on my now demonetized account. Well, it's never been monetized. The one I showed you with the play button, the Wu Tai One Nostalgia. I used to play games with my kids on there. We'd play Roblox. We'd do Minecraft. We'd get thousands of views here or there. I had huge videos back then. The bar wasn't very high to make money. It was, did you take the time to put good content out? Yes, then that's enough. If you put good content out, someone will watch it. If it was shitty, 600 people would still watch it. If it was good, millions would watch it, possibly. I think my highest video was almost 11 million views. I think that's before we ended up removing all of it because they didn't demonetize it. They said it would. I have to.
If you ever want, it was too commercial.
My channel was too commercial to make money, so I have to delete everything I made over a decade to try so I can get monetized. You see, so we did that, and then even the amount of subscribers, it didn't matter because they weren't sending notifications to the subscribers. Fantastic how that works. So it's like there was just always something against you. But before that, back in the nostalgia era, there was a lot of money coming in, and the cost of life was not very expensive. See, that's the difference. That's the difference. You would make $4,000, $5,000 a month, but rent was half. Groceries were half. Gas prices were high as fuck for some reason. No, that was during Trump's first time, wasn't it? Yeah. And then Rona happened, and nothing's ever been the same. The feel, I have to search for. Yeah, exactly. YouTube doesn't show it ever. There's been no real gain. Everybody's just suffering. The only people that have gained, it's like after coronavirus, the companies said, we lost a lot of money during coronavirus. So for however long it takes, we're going to make money until it's what we see fit. So for instance, corporations said, we have a 5-year plan on how much profit we need to make back in 2019. Coronavirus happened and it put a monkey in the wrench. So after coronavirus, they basically said, we're going to double the price of everything until we make the money we thought we lost. And damn the torpedoes. And everybody will eventually fall in line. Then once we're done, when we have enough that we see fit, then we'll level it out. We'll never lower it. We'll just level it out. And I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22. I don't know about you, but I am angry about it. It's to the point where if any conflict started, I would join against the billionaires and the government. If any spark at all, no matter how fucking trivial or small. Yeah, also while shutting down small business, exactly. No matter how trivial it is, if somebody just gave it a little push of, like, because the Epstein files, the billionaires having more money than ever, which I just read to you a little while ago, the cost of living crisis, how difficult it is, the this of our politicians, our aloofness of our politicians that basically say we don't care, we don't even see it. Trump doesn't see it. Nobody fucking sees it. You say to Trump there's an affordability crisis. Oh, no, that doesn't exist. That's a lie. You say to the Democrats, oh, they see an affordability crisis, but when the Democrats take power, they won't do anything to fix it either. They'll sit there with their thumb up their ass, keep it that way so they can keep telling you how much of a crisis there is. You see, so the Republicans will never help the poor or the middle class. The Democrats will say, we know you need help, and they'll make sure you need it that way. And they'll never help. You're fucked. You see what I'm saying? And so literally, any individual or person that starts this conflict, or person, I guess that's, yeah. Any individual or anything that starts this conflict, I will be right there. But it has to be enough to where it's worth it. I don't know how some of you, what's up, America? What's up, SLD? I don't know how some of you are going to work every day, paying your taxes and all this shit, knowing the Epstein file information, what it's told you. Nobody's talking about the Epstein files now. Nobody. Years worth of child trafficking and satanic cannibalism that they said in the files. Nobody's doing shit, are you? Well, no, Kings is coming up. Wonder what are you gonna do there? What are you gonna do? Piss in your faces? Piss in your face family fun time? Is that what it is? That we're doing there? What are we doing here? Right? This is what I'm talking about. And we say, well, no, we just can't. We're a civilized society. Well, our leaders weren't civilized when they were killing children and doing all this other shit. They weren't civilized doing that sick shit. Let me guess. It'll slip back into a conspiracy theory again, right? What you read in the Epstein files, you didn't read that? Plausible deniability, once again. Is that how it's going to be? I know I saw it say that they ate children, But that can't be real. That can't be real. You're going to disassociate yourself, the cognitive dissonance of the whole thing. Is that what we're doing here? They didn't traffic children. Must have been a mistake. None of those people that were in the files did anything wrong, because otherwise they would have been prosecuted, right? They would have been prosecuted had they done something wrong. That's going to be the battle cry of the retard. Wonderful results. Oh, and by the way, all the innocent people, they never get prosecuted either or murdered. No, it's a fairy tale dream. Cookie cutter. Oh, I know he has Cole. I know a girl that is a reporter or that works on InfoWars. Well, she comes on from time to time. So the issue is, my friends, when you go to protest this shit, which I know nobody does, you are protesting for a side. If you went out there with a sign that says you're all stupid, Democrats and Republicans. So if you went out there with a sign that said Democrat with an X, Republican with an X, and you put, yes, you're all stupid, and just held that up, you would get death threats. They would be like, well, no, I have the Republican side X'd out. Oh, so you're a liberal. Well, I have Democrat X'd out. Oh, you're a fascist. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This has been going on for 2 years. 10 years. I'm sorry. This has been going. Did he do the news? No, not yet. Most of it. Yeah, I've been doing little bits through it. We're at 3,000 No Kings protests coming up. That starts Saturday. I think it's only Saturday. Drunken flash mobs showing up at Florida beaches. Donald Trump's 15 peace point plan. I read that earlier. Russian oil tankers about to be intercepted. Oh, come on, my honey. I can say that. It's fun. Hey, I will say I don't know if I'm going to live or not. Oh, China is mapping the sea floor for submarine warfare. So that's fun. Hey, honey. Mwah. Palantir is now turning poisonous. By the way, Palantir is embedded in the government, and it's a surveillance state. I told you they were wrong. Palantir's been getting injections of money from the CIA. That's another situation. By the way, also, the CIA revealed documents that were declassified from 1965 on weather modification with LBJ, Lyndon Johnson, talking about doing a great job on that hurricane. So you might want to go take a look at that. I have a video on TikTok on my archaeology account about that. You'll see that and you're like, oh, so you've never known a life. That's all I got to say. We need to stop participating. Yeah, but they never will, because people are still onto this money is the happiness factor. In essence, life without money is that. Not life without money with needing money is the answer. Life with no money where there is no money needed is the answer. Jury finds Meta violated the law. New poll suggests Americans are shunning AI as breaking news. So Americans are turning away from AI. And this was a big story. This is why I've been talking about AI and social media and stuff, because at least 4 or 5 stories today are related to AI with Palantir getting into missiles and weapons technology, people getting sick of AI demonetizations. People are really getting sick of AI. AI has yet to produce a positive in any capacity, and I'll be off here in just a minute. To me, AI has produced very little gain for all the hype and the data centers and all the bullshit. I don't see any real, I can tell a news story is written by an AI by how it's written. if you read news stories, like I read news stories 50 times a day so I can make content on TikTok particularly, every story that's written by AI is written the exact same fucking way. It starts out, Mr. Tom Cotton, blah, 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 personal story with ramping up to the problem. Then they talk about the problem, a body, why it exists, the history behind the problem, and a very short paragraph of the solutions of the problem. Honey. And then it just repeats over and every news story.
That's the whitest name I
The Tom Cotton. How about Jerry Jones? That could even be a little bit of a black name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yep.
Wasn't there? There was a football coach named Jerry.
There's a Jesus Jones.
Yeah, right here, right
Yeah,
now.
right here. And in a video that I haven't put up on social media yet, stolen dogs escape a Chinese meat factory and band together as a band of brothers to get home. Just like this is great. What's up, America? So this is a good story, so I'm going to end with this. Stolen dogs. Oh, by the way, there was an Air Canada plane crash, hit a fire truck. I have that. I have too much news on TikTok. I forget to do it here. So a bunch of stolen dogs escape a meat factory and form a band of brothers. 7 stolen dogs, ranging from tiny Pekingese to massive German Shepherds, trek 10 miles home with a clever corgi leading the pack to safety and viral fame. See, I told you this is why you're not mean to animals. The canine band of brothers have become a global sensation after staging a daring escape from a Chinese meat factory, trekking 10 miles to safety. The group of 7 dogs, I just said that, were filmed navigating the treacherous highway in Jian province. Viral footage shows the pack moving with military precision, with a corgi leading the charge and constantly checking the rear to ensure that no one fell behind. Witnesses were stunned by the animals' coordination as they dodged traffic to return to the village. What do you think, animals are stupid? Take it easy, Meep. Of course animals aren't stupid. Animals are great. That's why people need to quit being a fuck to them. One onlooker who filmed the pack and even spiders, for this Daily Mail, they resemble a band of little brothers in distress, moving in unison, nothing like stray dogs. The witnesses tried to intervene, but the focused hounds ignored his calls, seemingly on a mission to reach their families. The group's lineup included golden retrievers, Labradors, and a small Pekingese, as well as a German Shepherd and a corgi. Volunteers from the Bitter Coffee Stray Dog Base believe the animals were snatched from a same village and formed an unbreakable bond in captivity. It is suspected that they were stolen by dog meat traders and managed to break free from a transport truck. Despite the freezing winters in northern China, where some still wrongly believe dog meat provides warmth, the lucky pups managed to evade the butcher's blade. Don't eat fucking dogs, please. Experts from the Dillon Animal Protection Association noted that because dog farming is expensive, many traders resort to the cheap option of stealing family pets to eat them. By the way, they would never make that movie because it would paint China in a bad light. And they wouldn't show that because that would piss off Winnie the Pooh and the commies. Anyway, after a 2-day trek across fields and motorways, the exhausted animals finally reached their doorsteps on March 18th. The volunteer Jimu News that all 7 dogs had now been reunited with their 3 separate families. One moved viewer said the journey could be the premise of a movie. The golden retrievers positioned itself closest to traffic to shelter the smaller dogs. So the bigger dogs stayed on the outside by the traffic so the little dogs didn't get crushed. The Corgi kept checking back to make sure no one was left behind. The German Shepherd showed natural leadership and remained central like a general. Another added, dogs exemplify loyalty to their companions. Humans who harm them show far less humanity. While dog theft is a criminal offense in China, activists are using the miracle story to push for stricter animal protection laws across the country. Absolutely. I will say that my dog has been dead for 2 years? And we were at the park the other day, and there was this little brown puppy that was coming out. And so when my dog was alive, and up till the very end, so when my dog was in the prime years of the dog life, we would go to this park, and the park was surrounded by backyards of neighbors, like in a neighborhood. And it was like a church parking lot, whatever, had a nice, playground, whatever. And almost every one of those people had a dog. So my dog would come, and you would have Sonny, the dog that was the golden retriever, and then there was these two smaller dogs, One-Eyed Jack and King with an Axe. But it ended up being One-Eyed Jane later because they were a girl and guy. One was missing an eye. Then there was we called him the abused dog because every time he came out, the lady would be like, "Shut up out there!" And it was a fucking cunt. But he was a good dog, and that was where the pool was.
Then there were the two fighting dogs.
Then there was the two dogs that my dog would bounce back and forth with him. They ended up fighting each other over who was going to kill my dog. Then there was the bloodhound next door that would go, "Rrrr, rrrr." And then there was the little dog that came later.
That dog came later.
That dog came later. That was Yippee Dog.
Yeah.
And then there was Grumbles at the end of the I don't know the names of any of these dogs. These are the ones I named. Right? My dog was black, named Shotzi. It was a Pomeranian. So Grumbles was at the end, and so my dog went all the way with him till she was 13 or 14.
Uh-huh.
And then all of them, like Sonny moved away, One-Eyed Jack and King with an Axe died. Then they were replaced by two other dogs. Abused dog moved. Other two dogs that fought moved. Bloodhound moved or died. Yippee Dog came in, but we haven't seen him much. And Grumbles that was there, I haven't seen him. I'm assuming died, maybe not, because those people got a new puppy. And it was a cute little chocolate little, hey, puppy. And so we were walking down, and the dog caught my eye halfway down the parking lot and was like, "Huh! Hey, a guy!" And I was like, "Hey, a dog!" And it reminded me of Shotzi, like if Shotzi was ever reincarnated.
And not a Pomeranian.
And not a Pomeranian, but had the same and it was there, and it wanted to give a little hug and all this other shit. I couldn't pick it up because it's somebody else's dog, but I was across the fence, and then we were out there, and the kids were skateboarding, and we were looking young, and the dog was just like, "Hey, when's he coming back?" Getting upset that I wasn't there. So now I'm gonna have to go with beef jerky in my pocket and his stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway. That's where it's at. So I need another cute little puppy. But not if we're going to go overseas. And if we go overseas somewhere ever in our lives, we'll have to have I don't know. What do you think? Stay in America or move to another country? The weed here is good. But they do have weed in what's that called? Montevideo, Uruguay. I can learn Spanish. Yeah, we're all connected. I can learn Spanish. Christy Neom, rumored lover, facing criminal investigation. Oh, so Donald Trump now says the $220 million for advertising for Christy Neom. They knew about that, of course. Like you said. And then now there's a criminal investigation that the guy that she was fucking behind her husband's back was probably siphoning off some of the money. So he'll face that. So, hey, guess what? Please stop, like only fuck someone you're with. Like, does everybody do that now?
I don't.
Does everybody do that? Is that what we're doing here? Is everybody a thought? Is that what it is? That hoe over there? Retirement in Bulgaria? Yeah, get yourself an Eastern European woman or a Filipino woman or a fucking Japanese woman. Wait, they don't have those anymore. They're all robots now. I forgot about that. Get you an Asian women. They tend not to cheat on you. Passport bros down in South America. I wouldn't trust like Brazilian women. That sounds like aren't like that. Like Gino. Fucking.
Well, she's Panama. But close enough.
Nevertheless. Anyway, passport bros. Democrat wins special race at Trump's home district. So a Democrat is now in charge of the territory where Mar-a-Lago is. Told you you're going to lose the midterms. I wasn't lying. I was telling the truth. 6 states have natural grass-fed beef recalled because there's metal chunks in it. And Hollywood is turning on Chapel Roan. Music insiders give the verdict as one source close to Star explodes with worst insult imaginable as Hollywood is turning on, quote, bitch, Chapel Roan. I know, I'm sorry. I know I have, but I want to see this because this is ridiculous because I made 2 videos about her shit talking. What does this say? And you have to run it through the AI so you can, because they want you to pay $3.99 a month to read that story. Fuck that. I'm just going to steal it. Yeah, are you kidding me? I'm not going to fucking... Okay, so I'm not doing your paywall on news. What I do is I take the link to the story I want behind the paywall, go to an AI, and I say, tell me what this says. And it gives me a synopsis of the story I have to pay for. So I don't pay for it. I steal your news. Suck my ass. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. No other reason than that. Anyway, the story centers on recent controversy in Brazil. 11-year-old Jude Law's daughter was roughed up by a security guard, mentally speaking. The girl walked past Chapel Roan's table. Her response was to send a security guard and file a complaint with the hotel. Alleged large security guard reported from Chapel's team, then allegedly came over and aggressively berated the mom and the daughter, accusing them of disrespecting and harassing Princess Chapel Roan, and threatened to file a complaint with the hotel. The girl ended up in tears. Chapel Roan's team strongly denies. She posted an Instagram account on her saying that it wasn't her personal security and she didn't direct anyone. Her spokesperson says she did not direct her personal security to make the little girl cry. And she also said that she has zero tolerance for aggressive behavior towards fans. That doesn't really mean anything. However, the piece used the incident to paint a bigger picture of Chapel Roan as difficult. And we all know, like Katherine Heigl and the difficult celebrities. By the way, I just want to be very clear here. I'm not a celebrity, but I am on Cameo. And anybody can be a fucking celebrity. I don't care how talented you are. With enough training, anybody can do that. Don't think you're hot shit because people know who you are. They knew who John Wayne Gacy was, and they still executed that piece of shit. Okay? So being famous doesn't mean a goddamn thing. I made a good song. So did Milli Vanilli. And one's dead, and they lied about it. And now they're a national embarrassment. So you have to understand, none of this means shit. So just because you're famous, people know me. Wonderful. Do I want $1 million. So I can go to Hawaii and drink Mai Tai on the beach and bang my hot wife. But I can't do that because I'm not rich. People know you, and who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, apparently some people out there think that being known means they can be a fuck. You can't be a fuck if you're known. You have to Ergo say it, you have to be more humble the more famous you get. Like the guy that was in the movie Canadian Bacon, the president at the time. He was the guy that was on MASH. Klinger. Or not, no, the main guy. Alan Alda.
Yeah.
Alan Alda. Class act. Fucking John Candy. Fucking class act. Mel Brooks. All those people know how to do it right. That's the type of shit you should aspire to. This prima donna bull fucking shit. Everybody is just a hunk of meat with a spirit inside. All of us can be run over by a truck while eating pho in a Vietnam village. So I don't want to hear shit from anybody thinking they're better than everybody, especially this fucking bitch, which more than likely, as she ages, will end up looking flabby. Gravity has its way with everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, insiders say that Chapel Roan has a straight-up bitch diva attitude. One source says that people close to her hope she'll be nicer before it's too late or she ruins her career. They mention her past outbreaks yelling at photographers at the VMA at an Olivia Rodrigo event, calling out fans paparazzis for stalking and harassing her. By the way, this is the same person that said men that do art is not art. Art made by men is not actual art. Only if you're trans or if you're a woman does that mean art. So that everything else is just patriarchy. So this is what I'm gathering here, one of the most woke dumb fucks I've ever come across. If that's the case, because I've come across some woke dumb fucks from Hollywood and they all have shit for brains because it's most of it's not even their beliefs. It's done because they're, don't you agree? Oh, yes, refugee. It's the slogans. It's the feeling. How could this or that be wrong? And they purposely stop looking at this aspect of it and only look. So like they look at the positive aspects of immigration, unchecked immigration, not the negative aspects of it. Purposely looking that up because it's an agenda. It forms tight-knit groups, lots of ad and brand revenue, songs being used, commercial gigs. Harry Sisson does the same thing. So does Dean Withers. You all know what they do. They're paid by Midas Touch. They get a script practically to read. And so it's because I've gotten talking points before. I've made money off videos too. They give you scripts. It's not scripts, but you have to kind of focus on these topics, what to say. You have to really do it like this because then you get paid as well as pushing an agenda. You may agree with the agenda. You may just not agree with it that far, but you'll say it for $675. See how that works? And they all do it. It's called Midas Touch. It's spelled like Midas Touch, right? But they're the ones that pay the liberals. And there's also conservatives. Obviously, Charlie Kirk's group does that, and we know a lot of those. But a lot of people don't know the liberal pay mouthpieces, and you got to watch out for that. What's up, Corey? What's up, America? So when I look at people like Harry Sisson or Parker Get a Job, I'm not sure so much Parker, but Dean Withers, I know they're paid by Midas Touch. I'm almost certain of it. And that's fine, but they don't disclose that on their live streams. They don't disclose those facts like CNN is like brought to you by Pfizer or whatever. That's fantastic. They purposely do that. They're told not to disclose it, as a matter of fact. I know that because I've been told not to disclose shit on certain videos, not whole swaths of stuff, but one or two videos before in my past, not to mention this and mention this instead. I just happened to agree with what they were saying. But that's what they do. And they're jerks. What they do, and this is what Harry and Dean and all these people do, because they don't deal with educated people that are opposed to their viewpoints. What they do is they make a live stream that says, why do you still support Trump? And they'll bring someone on, they'll make some moot point that they don't know very much about, and then Harry and Dean, or whoever is on at the time, will basically fucking say, okay, well, they basically end no matter what conversation is with I'm smarter than you and you're uneducated because you're beneath me somehow. So I'll talk about a point. I'll generally have my talking points up on the screen with me, or I'll use an AI to put those in. I've seen people do that too. And then you'll make an argument, but your argument is not prepared because you're just coming on there to yell at them and you're not prepared. Their argument is several points, but the points aren't very good. And what they'll say is, for instance, like, well, wouldn't you agree that immigrants are good for America if they would increase the GDP? You're like, well, yeah. Well, the GDP with immigrants here was up 5.2% under Joe Biden, but under Donald Trump, it's only up 3.7. That's a direct causality of getting rid of fucking immigrants. You see, that's why you need more. And it's like, well, no, the reason the GDP was up was because Joe Biden was also greenlighting projects, and they were using illegal labor to fund those greenlit projects, many through private contracts, so it wouldn't be considered a government-run project. So you had a lot of private construction companies, for instance, that were hiring illegal aliens for these projects, and it was being greenlit and fast-tracked, while other facets were being held back to make it look like certain sectors were growing and lost. Now, is that a coincidence, or was it done on purpose? Republican, conservative, right-wing conspiracy theorists would say it was done on purpose. Other people could say it's just the way that the policy is, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Nevertheless, they don't have anybody that would do that. They'd be fucks about it. And then they'd say, you're just stupid! And then they would kick them off the street.
I thought the dog story was your last
It was. Anyway, so don't forget, follow me on YouTube, Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the like and notification. Follow me on TikTok, Sup America and Sup America 1. But make sure it said, or Sup America 2. Make sure it look up at Sup America 2, because there's somebody out there with 14,000 followers that says at whatever, X whatever underscore. That's not me, okay? I've already reported that piece of shit a couple of times. So follow me. The one is Sup America at the American Unity Party. And then the other one is at Sup America 2. Follow those on TikTok. Follow me on X, Sup America, if you want to talk there, which most people, I don't get followers there. So, and follow me here. Don't forget to subscribe here. Subscribing is free. Thumbs upping is free. Please don't be a dick. Thumbs up and subscribe. Fantastic. And if you don't like me, block me and go fuck yourself as always. We'll be back tomorrow and all the way until Thursday. And then I will be back about 5 or 6 p.m. on Saturday to cover the No Kings protest, what's left of it. And I will show you protests all through the night or until they tucker themselves out and have to go to bed. So anyway, what archaeology page is Sup America. But you can look at it at American Unity Party. Or just look up Sup America. It's got 86 or 87,000 followers. Anyway, that's it. So don't forget to don't forget to subscribe, share, like, hit the notification button.